All right, guys, my name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton Zihan. I am the host of Dr. Sharnael True TV. I'm really, really excited about this one. I don't know this guest very well, but I'm about to dive in and really see what's going on and what she does and how she helps humanity. And I'm really, really excited about her topic as well because it's going to be a deep dive. I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this. I am also wanting to remind you that Craig and I are trying really hard to figure out who we're talking to. So as we are chatting, we're kind of getting like just putting some things out there to see like who you are, where you're from, what kind of topics you might be interested in. We want to make sure that what we're doing actually serves you guys and our audience. And so if you can give us a little like logistics on demographics and what kind of people you're interested in, what kind of topics you're interested in, and if there's any people that you know personally that you think would be a good fit for our show. We're always looking for new guests and referrals, to really make sure that we're giving you guys what you guys are looking for, and to help us all evolve and help us all learn and grow together, because each of us have this diverse, unique gifting and part of us, that are all different. And that tapestry is so beautiful when we really start to even look at the things that we're maybe not familiar with, just to kind of, have the courage to look on the other side and say, well, what's this about? And what's this about? And open up and expand our minds a little bit to the possibilities of having different perspectives and seeing things differently. So please do, if you don't mind, tell us where you are. And then if you're interested in helping us keep the show going on, we do have a private membership. And that membership, we meet once a month and do some in-person, well, not in person, but active meetings together, meaning it's not just you watching us on the show, but we're all in a Zoom talking to each other, answering questions. I usually have different people doing sessions or some kind of thing where you guys are getting and receiving some service. There's a lot of free content for our members. We do free discounts on the website and different offers, but I will put the link here as well for you guys to check that out. Anyway, very happy to meet you, Maryanne. I'm gonna
Great to
let
meet you too.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you kind of steer this and tell us first of all where you're from and how you got in this space of galactic things and earth fruits. I mean, it just sounds very mystical and interesting. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and made the move to Green Bay, Wisconsin for a school for my son. In that whole space, when I was growing up, I always felt different, as probably a lot of your guests do. And over time, I went into aviation. So I was in aviation for over probably about 15 years. And at one point after I had my first son, I had this moment. My intuition was always there. I was able to see things that would eventually occur. So I always had some gifts that I was aware of. And then when I had my son, I had the inkling of, you're done here. You're done in corporate America. And I wasn't listening to my intuition. And it was almost as if something just came through like loud and clear. It was like static first. And I heard, you're done here. You have nothing else to learn here. And I sat with that and I said, am I really hearing this? Even though everything in my body said I was done, I just said, well, I worked my entire life for this. I mean, I worked hard in school. I did everything right. I've made it to a certain point in my career. How am I done? Well, I sat with that for a bit and I spoke with my husband, and we decided it would be best for me to stay home with my son, who I just gave birth to. That was around 2009. And over time, I saw him developing differently. And I would speak to the doctors and I would hear, he's a boy, he's okay, don't worry about it. But my intuition knew more. He was doing these, to me, amazing things. Like at 8 months old, he would take a mirror and shine it up to the ceiling and bounce light everywhere. He would learn how to maneuver his toys in ways I've never seen a child do. And I just sat with him in awe, kind of watching. And over time, he did speak at first, but then regressed and lost all of his language at about 27 months. And that led me into what I call the time where I learned how the human body worked. And so I now knew why that message came through loud and clear saying, "You're done here at work. Now you have another path to go down." And so I knew every part of an airplane. I knew how an airplane worked, but I had no idea how the human body worked until my son came. And so I dove into different therapies with him that were body centric. And so not every therapy though came in a linear fashion. And over time, we worked his body. We were able to strengthen his body where he could then speak again. And at that time, though, his speech wasn't necessarily coming out as typical speech. And so there was still there were a lot of decisions that needed to be made. And a lot of that threw me into, I would say, the dark night of the soul, a lot of victim consciousness when people that I was asking for help weren't meeting me back with that help. And schools, he couldn't be in school. He couldn't be safe in school. They didn't know how to interact with him or to speak with him. So I knew how bright he was. I could see it, I could feel it. I could even speak with him telepathically. And he was telling me, "Mom, please help me get my true voice out."
Mm.
And that was when in 2016, we went and visited this woman in Texas who helped him spell on a letterboard. And she was able to help him get his true thoughts out onto paper, where he
Wow.
was writing stories, answering questions. And that changed things automatically, where I said, I need to find a place that does this all day long where he can go. That led us to a place in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where I had gone for they call it a camp, where he could do the spelling all week long. It's called Rapid Prompting Method. And we went there and I said, I saw a child there and I saw him there all day. And I said, "Would you take another child?" And she goes, "Yes, we're actually having another family who's moving from Australia to come here." And I said, "Well, sign him up as soon as we can because we're going to move." So I didn't tell my husband, but I went home and I was
Whoops.
like, "Honey, let's pack up our children, pack our bags. We're moving to Green Bay, Wisconsin."
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess he can have a job to just do that. That's pretty.
He got lucky. He was able to then work from home.
Oh,
They
wow.
they let him work from home. They knew what we were, what our family dynamics were like. So they let him work from home. And like everything just when it's your sole purpose, everything just boom, boom, boom. Our house sold. We were able to pack everything up and move.
Wow.
Bam.
That's crazy.
From there, I when we moved, I was 9 months pregnant with my fourth child.
Oh my gosh. During the
Uh,
move.
during the move. So
Oh
when we got there and I gave birth 3 weeks later,
my gosh, girl. Taking it all on at once.
he and I both suffered some injuries. I would say some birth injuries.
Oh man.
My body was at a point where it just felt the last 7 years of being a warrior autism mom. And he felt everything that I was feeling, I'm sure, during the pregnancy. So he came out and he looked okay, but then over time I saw he wasn't developing typically either. And we have a special place here in Wisconsin, a shrine where Mother Mary appeared, and it's proven that she's appeared there and many miracles have happened on the spot. And I'd gone there and I dropped down on my knees. I just said, "Help me. I don't know what to do. Help me because I'm not feeling right. My body's not working right. And my son's not able to move right. Please help me." And I heard chiropractic. And I didn't know what that was at the time. I just was never in that kind of circle to know what that was. So I said, well, how will I know? And I heard you'll know, use your intuition, use your discernment.
Wow.
So I looked it up. I found a chiropractor. I brought my son. He was 9 months old. They tested him for things I had never heard of, which were like childhood movements, primitive reflexes, they're called. And sure enough, he had some retained primitive reflexes. And the chiropractor said, okay, we're going to adjust him 5 days a week. Like he needs some intensive work. After 2 adjustments, my son, who was 9 months old, he couldn't move, he couldn't crawl. After 2 adjustments, he woke up the next morning and crawled all over the room.
What?
Crawled everywhere. I
Just
immediately
from
went back.
a chiropractic adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Holy mackerel.
And
I've
prayer.
never heard. Well, yeah, Mary Magdalene might have done something
Mary,
there, right?
yes. so
Wow.
so I went back. I immediately just went straight to the shrine, gave my thanks and gratitude. I set up my appointment, and it turns out I had gone to doctor's appointments. No one could tell me what was wrong. In 15 minutes, the chiropractor said, you broke a pedicle in your spine. This is why you're
See?
having problems. Yep.
You broke a what?
It's called a pedicle in my
Okay.
spine. So a
Oh my,
piece of my spine broke
during the birth.
during the birth.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So I was then um, sort of in this dark night of the soul healing journey for about 2 years. And then COVID hit, and I really went within even deeper. Like I could, with all of the nervous system work that I was doing through chiropractic and through massage and prayer, I could really feel like my clair skills were opening. And I was starting to hear messages, feel messages, see even greater than I could before.
Mm.
And I wound up I went back to the shrine, communed with Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and I heard Reiki. Like I heard this is like your entrance into what energy is, like learning how to work with energy. And I could find someone, I actually found someone in the same lineage now that I know that I am in this divine mother goddess lineage.
But you had never heard the word Reiki before?
Never, never.
Just like the chiropractic.
Never.
Wow, I
I
love
mean, I
that.
heard of chiropractic, but it wasn't really anything that was in my field. So I
Mhm.
looked up someone, I found someone that resonated. It was just like all happened like in divine timing. And so I became a Reiki master. And then from there, started to dive even deeper within, going into like, who are we truly? Why are we truly here? One
Mhm.
of the things that was still why I was doing this deep work was that my son, I noticed, had certain behaviors. And when I was doing the healing, when I was going within and really alchemizing the trauma, his behavior changed. So, my son, who has autism, his behavior got better by me doing this inner work.
Wow.
And one day he showed me that he could actually see the trauma that I had in my body.
Your son?
Hmm.
Wow.
And so that was a moment that was really a catalyst to dive even deeper into other healing modalities, into who I truly am. Like, who am I really? These gifts that we have, healing hands. Um, I use the essential oils as well, Young Living, layering the frequencies of hands-on healing or distance healing with the oils and crystals and sound healing with the bowls, just all of that, immersed myself in it and just started to have deep remembrances of who I am from a multidimensional perspective, who my past lives, and working with other healers as well to uncover these things and to embody them further into my body to be able to help myself and help others. One of the pivotal pieces was that at this time, I still could not get open communication with my son through rapid prompting method. There was something, oops, sorry about that. There was something that was holding me back, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And so I spent time communing with my son through my heart, and I could hear him speak to me. And he started to tell me topics that he wanted me to create lessons on, because through this rapid prompting method, you get open communication by creating lessons. So whether it's science, whether it's history. So I was just taking notes, and I said, I don't know where this is coming from. I think it's coming from him. Let me just make a lesson on this topic and see where this goes. So I made a lesson. We started doing the lesson, and then the open communication with him flourished.
Wait, he just started talking after the lesson?
He started talking through spelling to me
But
after the
but he
lesson
wasn't
he told me to
before.
do. No, he was with other people. He was with his teachers. He wasn't with me. And I kept saying to myself, I've done everything right, going into that victim consciousness. I've done everything right. I've done the schooling. I've done everything. Why can't I do this? And part of it was all these belief systems and limitations and everything else that's within us that holds us back from like the truth of who we really are. And so
Oh,
each
you're gonna make me
time,
sad. Oh my gosh, I'm like, tears are starting to well out. I'm like trying to keep myself. That's so powerful.
yeah,
We are so powerful. Like, this is crazy. And what,
it's like next level.
yeah. And this morning before we got on, or before I started my day, I always like read something or like watch something or do something for that twilight morning, either meditation or some sort of new thing to listen to just to get my day going while I'm making coffee or whatever. And I was actually listening to someone talking about these silent retreats. And they were saying these people who do silent retreats pretty regular, that their telepathic abilities are like off the charts, because they're, when something else isn't, if you're not doing it this way, then the body will automatically do it a different way, just to communicate a different way. And it kind of sounds exactly what you're saying, is like, just because it doesn't look the way we thought it would doesn't mean there's not options. And this person was talking about how they would go wherever, and there would be groups all in these silent retreats, and he was saying, like, after day 2 or 3, that you would just be thinking like, oh, I need the butter, like at the table, like, oh, I need the butter. And then someone would be like passing it to you, and just crazy stuff that like comes to the surface as humans. And it just made me wonder, like, how much we depend on social media and different things, and how much maybe things could change if we were in a situation like that. Or like, people who are blind tend to have better hearing, or other perceptions that they have, or someone who can't hear has other perceptions that they utilize that are enhanced. And so I love synchronicities, because literally this is, this morning, and now you're talking about kind of, but golly. So can you share what the lesson was that you
It,
did?
yes, it was on history. It was on the Atlas Mountains. It was on Tunisia, and how Tunisia had like a big forum, like in Rome. Like he had me, and he made this up, and it wound up being a past life that we had together.
Interesting.
So he
Interesting.
was he was giving me a lot of history information on history that he wanted me to put together, and he was almost taking me through a journey when we were doing these history lessons.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay, well, keep going. I don't want to stop you. So
Oh, that's okay.
what happened then? What's going what
So then that was a time where I heard I had done all of these modalities and wanted to put them together. But I heard him say, look, let's get open communication together before you start like a healing space. So we wound up working together for about 9 months on doing these lessons and gaining the open communication where he could communicate sentences, write stories and poetry, things like that. So we felt really good about that. And at that time, my father, who lived with us, wound up coming down with cancer, and
Um,
I became his caretaker and his basically like his energy worker, doula for the remaining 4 months of his life. And from there, that was really like a devastating blow. Um, and I could have dove deeper into, let's say, that kind of low vibrational place. But instead, knowing these tools, knowing the support and vibrational support we had, I leaned on my friends. I leaned on other energy workers. I got the support that I needed to get myself through this huge change for all of us, and was really able to dive deeper into love and truly what love means and
mm,
why we're here, and how to help people to emanate that love and be that love for each other. Now, we're not perfect, of
right.
course. However, to get to that space, to feel that, to know that, to embody that, and to know that everything you do is sacred. Every person you meet, everything you touch, everything you decide to do with your free will can be done in a sacred way, in a loving way. And so that really taught me that piece. And from there, I was told, you're going to find a place to do this healing work with a pond and trees and nature. And my husband said, good luck finding that. Well, within 2 months of my dad transitioning, I found that space
Wow.
with a beautiful pond in the back, nature all around us, a beautiful room in a beautiful salon. And so I opened up a space and I started doing hands-on healing, layering the frequencies. I started doing breath work. And over time, through these sessions, I was starting to be able to access people's Akashic records, and I could see their lifetimes both on Earth and in the galaxy that were related to this lifetime today, and
Wow.
how it weaved a beautiful story of who they truly are. And from there, they could feel the vibration of that and how that's changed them. And we could dive in deeper on how then they can use that in their lives today to create, let's say, or expand on their soul's purpose or their soul's path.
Wow. One of the questions that I get a lot is about how we can do the long distance. Like, what is your answer when people ask you that? Because with your work, I know you're doing it in person, but with the long distance part, whether it's singing bowls or, using oils with Reiki, how does
Mhm.
that? What do you tell people?
I'm able to, in the plasma that surrounds all of us, the energy can flow through. So I'm able to tap into the energy field of the person that I'm working with, and I could send the frequencies of the oils through the energy field, as well as access their body, their energy body. And I'm able to drop into my heart space, and with our team of light, able to help them shift what is coming up for them to shift at that moment.
And people are just like, okay,
Yeah, I mean, people who are into this. So
yeah,
most of the people that it's interesting who you see as your clients coming to you. And a lot of them are part of the lineage that my soul has taken. Some of the journey that my soul has taken through Egypt and Atlantis, Lemuria, back to Sirius and Lyra, Arcturus, the Andromeda Galaxy. And so I've been able to really spend a lot of time communing from my heart, that heart portal to those places. And it makes so much sense because I originally went to college to be an astronaut. Like
what?
that. Yep. I was engineering physics. I was ready to be an astronaut. And when I got there, it was so mentally heavy. And my body knew that there was something else. But it was such a time of realizing that this wasn't for me, but then not knowing how to mourn that and that staying with me, that it just took about 20 years later to figure out that we are the astronaut.
Yes, yes.
And our Merkabas, we can travel in our Merkabas and
Yep. This is our
go,
spaceship right
yes,
here. Yep.
Exactly. We can
Yeah.
travel in our spaceship anywhere. And that has been such a full circle journey for me that has just touched me in ways that I can't even describe.
That's really interesting. So, totally off subject, but so do you believe we've been to space? You know, with all the stuff that just happened with Katy Perry and all that, like, do you think we went there? Do you think she?
I I do think there's the ability to go there. I think there are spaceships that go into lower orbits and things of that nature. I do feel like I was really being protected. I will say that by not going into that field. I went to school in Florida, very close to Cape Canaveral. I do feel as if it was that divine protection, though, of me not knowing but again, not to judge myself, but not being, being young and not being in that full trust of like, this really isn't what you're supposed to do, but have that trust that it's going to come.
Yeah.
Like I had to go through a lot of different soul lessons before I got to that full trust point.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I see that too. Where like I work at an animal shelter part time, and but I grew up like with animals and taming animals, and I was very alone in the middle of nowhere, Montana, and not, I think the closest person to me was miles away. The closest building to me was miles away. There's no gas stations, no shopping. We're just literally in the middle of nowhere as far as we could go. And so I was with like animals all the time. And, you know, kind of thought maybe I would do something with that. And then, yeah, I mean, fast forward, I am sort of doing that, with fostering and just working on the side with that. And when someone had approached me about fostering, I didn't even know people could do that. Like, so they were like, "Hey, can you bottle feed these babies until they're 2 weeks old, and then we'll just adopt them out." And so I got the best of both worlds, where I got to be with the babies and feed them and love on them. And then, but I didn't have to keep them forever. It's like, and I was like, this is actual, people do this, And I remember the first time I got my first set, and I was just sitting in my daughter's bedroom, and I had this flashback of me doing this on the farm. And I just started crying, and I started thinking like, well, what I'm doing right now in some way is actually changing the world. I don't know why, but it was like I knew that this is what I was supposed to be doing with the people that I was doing it with, the animals that I was supposed to be, and that this was like a part of my mission. And I thought, wow, if everybody was doing what they're supposed to, what kind of world would this be? No matter what you're getting paid or whatever, you know what I mean? If like
Yeah,
we just do what is actually in our heart, how much this world could be in an authentic place, and just really have this major tipping point of like authenticity all over the planet, if we were doing a mission and a purpose instead of a job, and
exactly.
you're walking proof of like literally connecting with your intuition, listening to that, making a move from, all these things are just amazing how connected you are, but not just connected, because I think there's people who listen, but then they don't follow,
Hmm.
and you have the bravery and the courage to not just get quiet and hear, but to act and be God in action. Like that is, what do you say to people who don't have the courage to do that?
To go within and feel, to go within and feel where the tension is that's stopping you from making those actions, taking conscious action in the now. So feeling what that is. Because as I level up, as I do more things, as I step out, let's say step out onto a stage like this, I had to go within and move to or feel into and observe with love, like what is holding me back. And that really
You're
starts to
making me
dissipate
cry.
the energy.
I'm like, sorry. Like this is powerful. Okay, keep going.
And what you said too was exactly the opposite of what happened to me. I grew up in New York City. So I had all the lights, the glitz, the glamour, everything to distract me. And life took me to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where it was quiet. I have sheep for neighbors. Like I have sheep behind that live behind me. I have wonderful human neighbors as well. And it allowed me that time and that space to be with myself, even through the even through the pain, the suffering, the heartaches, and be able to sit back and go within and question. And it gave me that time. And my kids gave me the time too, and they would do it with me. I have 4 kids. So, if I was doing a meditation or something, I would include them in it if they wanted to be. So they got to see me go through some of these really tough inner struggles and come out on the other side
Wow.
naturally, holistically.
Yes, no, we have great teachers and with our kids, don't we? You
Yes.
know, I got this kind of thing in Twilight the other day because they say when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And I always looked at that as like fun,
Yeah.
like we would be like, hey, where's the teacher? And the teacher shows up. And, there are those times where we get those synchronicities and we get these great mentors that I've had, like, Bob Jones and John Paul Jackson and Paul Keith and, Bob Stevens, who's just passed. And, but I just got the other day how sometimes the teacher comes in different forms, and sometimes the teacher comes in pain and in suffering and in are assholes and and
Yes.
people who aren't very nice, and narcissistic, you know people who come in. And if we can have the perspective that suffering and pain is a catalyst for something really deep, and having that perspective that this is an opportunity and where's the lesson and what am I going to get through this, instead of seeing it as pain, but it's just seeing like, hey, where's this going to go, and like moving through the emotions of that.
Mhm.
Why am I crying? um
Because we're doing it. We're doing it and we're living it. And we've been there and we felt it. Truly, we
I did
have.
not expect to have a breakdown on this show today. Like, wow, something's obviously clearing. Like your presence is really like healing. Just you. Um,
Thank
like
you.
I feel like you're clearing me just talking about what with your story. I know this is touching a lot of people, and I know you're going to continue to touch a lot of people. And I just hope that everybody watching can reach out to her and get a session. And I mean, golly, if I could just sit here in your presence and like start defragging and clearing trauma without, and I don't even, what's cool is I don't have to know what it is that's clearing. When we have these kind of releases, we don't have to actually name it or talk about it or make it bigger. We can just let it go, and then clear for more good things to come in. And how can people find you? Like, where do people sign up to get something? I guess you do like Zoom or
Yes. I have in person and Zoom, MaryanneMorrisHealing.com. You can book distance or in person sessions. And I'm also part of a group. We call it the Atomic Success Secrets Group.
oh, cool.
It's
Wait, the
it's
atomic what?
Atomic Success Secrets.
Wow.
It's run by Ralph Havens. He's also an exceptional healer, and it is such a beautiful group. There are 4 healers, all with diverse backgrounds. So Ralph was a physical therapist and got into the energy space as well. We have a beautiful Leslie. She was an RN. She was a nurse who also was a naturopath and um, homeopathy. She does homeopathy. We have Ilya, who is a coach as well as she does instant miracle healing. And then you have me, and we work 5 days a week for an hour a day in a group setting over Zoom, where we do this peace process, going within and feeling into any of the blocks or traumas or pain or challenges that are coming up. triggers, and we hold space in that divine heart space, and miracles occur
Wow. For each other and the world, because
for
as you're
each other.
crying,
And yeah, and we have this 5 days a week, an hour a day, Monday through Friday, and we've really truly noticed the ripples of this rippling far and wide, where and each of us have a different frequency signature, so we all bring in something special that really truly helps on the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level.
awesome. Well, I know I didn't even pay for a session and I'm like, it's happening. So I might have to like, I have a couple more interviews today where I'm being interviewed and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I might need to just have like a good cry for some reason before I get on and like not stop the process. But beautiful testimony, beautiful power, beautiful inspiration, amazing intuition, and really going in to yourself. And just I just love that I met you. I'm so glad that we connected, and I hope that you guys who are watching will take the steps. If you feel the yes, definitely reach out to her and get that set up. And you know what? If you wouldn't mind, and you guys who are watching, share and put this out everywhere, because you never know who might be watching that just needs a good cry, a good clearing, just by being in the presence of this beautiful woman and feeling her purity. Your purity is like pristine. Like I've that it's tangible. Like you're tangible. It's I don't always do this. Like I can't remember the last time I had a thing where I interviewed anybody and I was crying for no reason. So that I'm gonna have to literally sit with that and figure out what's going on. But anyway, any final words before we get off here today and let everyone get back to their life and whatever they're doing, or their cry? I don't know.
Just thank you, Dr. Sharnael. I mean, I've been looking forward to this for a while now, and just so grateful to be here in your presence with you, and just grateful, truly grateful to have a stage to do this, to share my gifts, to share each and every one of our gifts, and create the new.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you guys all for watching. And we will see you next time. We are here every Thursday at noon. I love you so much. And live true. Absolutely. That's the biggest message I have through all of this is just live true. Love you.
Love you. Thank you.